Hello, Harry Hynekamp. Welcome to the DoingCXRight show.
Stacy, it's good to be here, and thank you for having me on your show. Love it.
Thank you for being here. And I do want people to know, those watching YouTube will see this, but those listening audio will not know that Harry gets the award for the best background. That's real.
Yeah, that's real. So I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, Stacy, and I'm sitting in Mercedes-Benz Stadium in one of our suite level suites, and you get to see the background of the stadium and the field and all that.
That is a wonderful view that I'm getting to look at with you. So thank you for that experience. And please share with the audience, who are you, Harry? What do you do for a living?
Okay, so, one, I'm an immigrant to this country, so I was actually born in the Netherlands, right? So I'll just start there. In terms of who I am, what I do, I think I like to say that I was born in finance. So my background is all numbers to start with in terms of my professional career. So CPA, MBA in finance. I'm going to date myself, probably different places here, Stacy. Coopers and Lybrand, one of the big 8 consulting firms back in the day. Did that work for a while. And then I worked for Mercedes-Benz North America, which was for a much smaller than that organization is today. They sold maybe 50,000 cars. Today, it's hundreds of thousands of cars. And I was head of finance there. And then I left there to go to Bertelsmann Music Group, which is part of basically Sony Music Group now. So I was in the music business doing everything you can think of from, again, I'm going to date myself, singles, cassettes, club deals, record deals, but all kinds of different artists. Artists from Wu-Tang Clan to Foo Fighters, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, Whitney Houston, Clive Davis. So everything you can do there up until Napster and iTunes. And then I also enjoyed a 20-year career with Mercedes-Benz USA when we were selling roughly hundreds and hundreds of thousands of cars. And there I was chief learning officer for a while. I was head of the project management strategy office for a while. And then I switched gears and found myself head of learning and performance, so the training organization, and then the head of customer experience. So Steve Cannon wanted to make customer experience the number one priority for Mercedes-Benz USA. According to J.D. Power, I think we were like 22nd in J.D. Power out of all the car manufacturers. At that time, we weren't, living up to our brand promise. But we took that brand to number one, and the brand that you all love today, which is the best or nothing. And we were number one according to J.D. Power before I left there multiple times. And then I got the chance of a lifetime to come work for Steve Cannon and Arthur Blank in terms of sports and entertainment. And so now for the last 6 years, I've been part of basically the Falcons, Atlanta United, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which hosts college football games, concerts, monster truck shows, huge private events, truly in the fan, guest, customer experience in all different ways. And when people really ask me the short soundbite of it, what do I do? I think I help everywhere I've been for the last 20 years, I would say, is help teams fall in love, stay in love with their team members, drive their culture, build great leadership, and really fall in love, stay in love with their fans, guests, and customers. And, the falling in love part, Stacy, is easy. It's a little bit like sales, but the staying in love part is the real tough, where the tough work is. And that's where customer experience is. And that's where I really find, my joy, my passion is how to create those relationships and stay in love. That's where the tough work is.
Oh, gosh, where do I unpack this so much? Well, before we go really deep in falling in love and staying in love, Harry, what would you tell your younger 20-year-old self if you could go back in time based on what you know now from all those experiences? What would you say?
Oh, boy, there's a lot of stuff I would say. So,
well, give me one or two because we have to go deep on a lot of stuff here.
I hear you. I'd probably say it's worry less, live more. Everything will work itself out. So 99% of what you worry about never actually comes to fruition, right? So to me, it's, if you're hardworking, have core values, believe in yourself, worry less, live more.
And I want to echo that. Don't go to the what ifs because you're right. A lot of times they don't happen.
Never happens.
I have a family member that was diagnosed with cancer, and immediately my head went to, oh my gosh, she's going to lose her hair and this and this and this. And it turned out just to be radiation and pretty unobtrusive in the end. But the what ifs was killing me. They didn't happen.
Yeah, and that's just how our brain works, right? We're just there to figure out, protect, and hold the
Yeah.
course, et cetera. It's just natural. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So this is the customer experience doing CX right show. So let me start with what does doing CX right mean to you, Harry?
So quick answer would be, because I always hear all the time, customer experience is the new marketing. So I want to be really clear. So I see brand and marketing more as the brand piece really as the analogy to a movie trailer. It's the short 2-minute trailer. But customer experience is the whole show. It's everything else, right? And it's about how do we bring value, how do we drive loyalty, how do we differentiate ourselves. It's every facet of the customer experience, right, from beginning to end. And so for a Falcons game, it's from early in the morning, from when you leave your house to when you drive back into your driveway, right? So it's all those different elements, and that's where all the big opportunities are to build value.
Great answer. Now, as a customer, what drives you nuts about customer experience? If you had a magic wand that could be immediately fixed, what would that be?
Ooh. So I'm going to probably say, and this is probably for leaders as well. I would say, if I had one magic power, superpower, if I could install empathy into everyone we all wake up every day and we need to remind ourselves every day. The reason why we go to wherever we go as an entrepreneur or to work is we're there to serve people. I like to say in the stadium, we're in the people business. We just happen to sell tickets to amazing world-class sporting events. So if I could put empathy into every individual, because I can't put in what God put out, but if I could put that in, I know we'd have a great team that would be not only of service, but thinking about unexpressed needs and trying to wow and delight.
Hmm. All right, so let's talk about Mercedes-Benz and the sports success and all the different companies that you've worked for and with. What are a few factors that have contributed to the customer success that others can apply where they work? We want tactics. We want action.
Yeah, I hear you. So no matter where I go and all the different organizations I even get a chance to speak to, I really just start on the culture side of things. So in other words, if you can't, this culture to me is the software of your business, and you get to write the code every day, and you are writing the code every day. You're writing the code every day in your policies, you're writing them in your forms, you're writing them in the meetings, whether they come with agendas or not agendas. I won't show up to a meeting that doesn't have an agenda because you're not respecting my time, right? So you either have standards or you don't. And so culture for me, it's that old Peter Drucker line, which is culture eats strategy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it's the internal software, it's the lubricant, and it's built in every part of your business, from the people side, the leadership side, the process side, the tools, the technology, the responsiveness, the standards you hold. And look, many organizations in many facets in different ways, they don't have standards. And well, actually, they do have standards. They're just really low. And so you either have them or you don't. And so if you can't get that right first, make sure you're taking care of your team. That to me is probably the biggest thing. And then the second piece for me is on the customer experience side. Do you really understand why you want to be best in excellence in customer experience? Do you know what the problems are that you're trying to solve? Do you have the analysis? Do you have the research? Or do you have the mapping? And what are the actions you're going to take? And how is it going to deliver value differentiation to the business, as well as fans, guests, and customers?
Hmm. So you said something earlier that really hits my heart, which is falling in love.
It's easy.
It's easy. That's correct. It is easy to lure with marketing and discounts and couponing and get them in the door and selling sexy
Yes.
but then keeping and sustaining the marriage and the love and the fireworks, that does not sustain. And we know that that is a tremendous problem in companies, both losing customers and the attrition of customer service agents, all frontline and back office.
Yeah.
So, what is your view on how do you stay in love? How do you make a brand or a person belong to the brand and love the brand?
Yeah. So it's all about creating, nurturing relationships, right? Because that's what we're really talking about there. And so, one of my mentors always, said, and it still sticks to me today, is whether it's in a relationship we have one-on-one with someone who's a significant other, someone that we really care about, or in business, what is exceptional about it today quickly becomes expected, and not soon thereafter becomes boring, and soon thereafter becomes annoying. And so, we live in our core values, and one of our core values that Arthur Blank has founded all his businesses, he's an exceptional leader, is innovate continuously. There's no finish line. So what are you doing every day to reimagine and reinvent what we do? So, and the live events, sports, and entertainment side, that's what we're thinking about from every event to the next event, because we got to get someone to move away from their television. So if you want to come here, we better do something special beyond what you can see on your television, right? So whether it's tools, technology, people, process, how we ingress people, all those different facets of an event, we're constantly thinking about, okay, what's our next? What's next?
No finish line.
Yep.
Now, again, with a sports team as an example, you want to have that loyal fan base. How easy or difficult is it to sustain that?
Yeah. So just when you think about the sports side, so that was one of the biggest challenges for me coming from, the automotive Mercedes-Benz perspective and now coming into sports and entertainment, totally different industry. So let's think of, we're all fans of different things, right? And for a sports team, there's no guarantee that our team's going to win, on Sunday. There's wins and losses. That's part of what goes with fandom. That's what makes it so exciting, right? There's no promise, right? But being that part of that live entertainment. So what we focus on is, what are all the different things that we can do to make this experience truly an exceptional, extraordinary experience when they're here, as well as when they're not here. So the examples would be, look, when people are coming to the stadium, no one wants to wait in parking. Nobody wants to wait to go through security. People don't want to wait in concession. I haven't met anybody who likes to stand in queue lines. So how do we make all those different elements of coming to the stadium, into the stadium, going to food and beverage, going to concessions, going to your seat, going to the bathroom, all those different elements, how do we make that easy, efficient, fun, different, unexpected? And how do we unleash the power of all of our team members? Because on an event day, we'll have 5,000 or 6,000 team members across ticketing, guest services, housekeeping, right? All the different elements, security, safety, all those different elements. And how do we empower them? Because they're our frontline staff. And so beyond just table stakes is, making just, the experience satisfactory, a word that I just hate. I hate the word. So we're focused on delight from parking. How do we make that a delight? How do we make that different? Same thing with ingress and all those different pieces. How do we unleash the power of all of our people? And not only do we do that on game day, but how do we do that 365 days a year? So we connect to our season ticket members, our PSL owners, all throughout the year. So whether it's schedule released, draft parties, training camp, all those different elements that are going on all throughout the NFL season, we're connected to our fans. And we're also thinking about how can we get them excited. So whether it's member gifts or different types of benefits that we can provide that are exclusive to being a season ticket member. So let me just give you one, Stacy, right? And this is the innovation from our sales and service team, which I just love what they've done in the past 6 years. So if you're a fan of the Falcons and you want to go to an away game, we'll provide you the tickets. We'll get you the tickets wherever you want to go. If we're gearing up for the new season, you're going to get to pick your member gifts, for the folks that are sitting in your seats, so you can come in with the swag and be ready for the season, right? So it's really just about thinking about all those different touch points and really being fanatical about it. And we've got a lot of A players in this building, and we're trying to make sure that it's exceptional in every way we can.
Fanatical about staying in love.
Yeah, yes. And just nurturing that relationship, because again, expected becomes, boring and then annoying.
Expected becomes annoying and boring. Write that down, people. That's really good.
I'll tell you, I've gotten asked to go to a lot of different businesses, right? And give me my first impression. And so many times, honestly, Stacy, it's like, you're boring. You're boring. And I'll give you an example of that. So I had a friend who has an automotive dealership, not a Mercedes-Benz dealership. He just says, hey, just give me your perspective. Walk through, just mystery shop. I said, it's boring. You're basically boring. I said, how's your service retention? Not good. Once they come off warranty, they go to other, independents, and we kind of lose their business. I said, well, I said, that's because you're boring. I said, you have them for 4 years under warranty. And what special are you doing them for them to sit there and say, you know what? I'm going to keep going to this, my dealer, and start calling you my dealer, because I know you know me. I know you do something exceptional. You do something different. I'm not going to get it at Larry, let me fix it, luxury urine imports, right? I'm going to get it from my dealership, right? And so you have them captive for 4 years. How you develop the relationship? Because if all they're shopping for is price after they're out of warranty, well, that's on you.
So companies are used to measuring delight, and we could say, a lot of words for delight. But in general, how do you know that you're doing CX right from where you sit? Because ROI is what everybody in business cares about. So,
Yep.
how do you address that question?
Yes, I'm going to attack both of those, ROI as well as customer experience. How do we know we're doing it right? Right. So I think for I'm founded in finance. That's why I started there when we started our conversation. So I can do the numbers and KPIs. I can squeeze the passion out of every conversation with numbers. If people want to talk numbers, that's fine. But too often, I think customer experience gets labeled as just the soft stuff. And that's the wrong nomenclature. Customer experience is a strategy about accountability and responsibility for delivering performance to the bottom line, as well as delivering for our fans, guests, and customers, and creating a sustainable business. That's the first part. So it is an accountability tool and a strategy tool. It is not a layer on and let's put roses and let's send them gifts and all this different other soft stuff. That's part of it, but it's really an accountability tool. The way we know we're doing things right is we have all the feedback from our social channels that we scrub. The NFL does voice of fan surveys that they randomly do for every game. And we do that for concerts, college football games. Doesn't matter what we do. Private events, we'll do that. And in the NFL this past year, we were number one with our game day team for the second year in a row. We're going for 3 years. And I did just look at some previous stats, but we were number one in game day staff across every metric. We were number one in food and beverage across every metric.
But how? How?
Yeah, the how is basically, I'll say there's a bunch of things. I said culture is the first thing. Second is servant leadership. And I'd go as far to say as egoless leadership. So we have programs like Walk in My Shoes, where all the frontline staff, the people who are on the corporate side, you work a concession stand, you work a security lane, you work guest services, because you remember 6 Degrees from Kevin Bacon?
Yes.
Yeah. So the further you get disconnected from your frontline customer as a team member, the greater the risk to your company in terms of taking customers, fans, guests for granted, but also of misalignment, miscommunication, misdirection. So I would say leadership, servant leadership. Then it's about all the different processes, tools, technology we use. But Stacy, what's unique about our business is we do after action reports. So we sit around a table, even during a concert when Taylor Swift was here for 3 nights, which was fantastic. While she's dancing on her first night, we had all the team members from all the departments in a meeting room saying, hey, what's going right? What's not going right tonight? Because we want to make sure the next night it's even better. And we would do that during the shows. Not only are we good at post-mortems, during mortems, I would call them, during the shows, we're good at pre-mortems. So we will go see Taylor Swift play somewhere else in another venue and see what's going great there and not going so great, and make sure we're ready for those challenges that come here. And then last but not least is we listen and respond. And so whether it's social, emails, calls, et cetera, we don't filter it. We don't change it. We share it across the group. And that is the fuel to our fire in terms of how do we continue to keep getting things right. And so in this building, which is 2 million square feet, there is constant innovation going on, whether it's a food and beverage item, whether it's a security process. So, we like to learn fast, fail fast. And if there's not something, if our wheels aren't wobbling because we're trying something different, then we aren't pushing ourselves.
Yeah. Pre-mortem, that's gold. Nobody's talking about that.
Yeah. So for our business, it's critical, right? So we just did it. So Kenny Chesney was here with 50,000 of his fans on Saturday night. And so he played in Nashville a couple of weeks prior. So we sent team members from ticketing, sales, security, guest services, all production, et cetera, just to see that show and see what that team was doing, and also get acquainted with that road team. So when they came here, we already had a relationship with them. We weren't just introducing ourselves for the first time. And of course, we learned a lot about what can make things better for them. And so, whether it's Coldplay and their focus on sustainability, or all different acts all around the world, or even college football, we'll go see, when if Final Four hopefully comes here someday, we will go scout a Final Four, 2 years before it actually comes here and a year before it comes here. When the Super Bowl was here last, we went and scouted Super Bowls, right? And stuff like that. So pre-mortem work is just as important as after action and in the moment.
So, how does a listener in different industries apply that to where they work? What could they do?
Yeah. So one of the things that I like to do is you got to reach out. You got to reach. So when you're inside the box, so to speak, you can't see outside the box. So how do you best connect to other businesses that are around you? And I would say, don't be myopic. And so I'm not talking just about sports and entertainment. So I can easily go to the Braves and we learn stuff from them. I can easily go to the Atlanta Hawks and learn from them. I can go to Georgia State University and learn from them. But it's the other businesses. So in the sports business, many businesses, we are connected to partners and sponsors. So like Chick-fil-A. So Chick-fil-A is world renowned for an amazing experience. And so we tap into that relationship. And so what I would suggest is open up the aperture beyond your business. So if you're in the software business, don't just think inside the software business. Open that aperture up. Start thinking about some of the partners there because there's something to learn from everyone.
Beautifully said. And I also want to emphasize about closing the loop. So you're getting that feedback, disciplined in all different parts of your organization and collectively going through that and then closing the loop. That's where so many companies fall short.
Yeah. I remember at Mercedes-Benz when we went on this journey to bring the brand from 22nd to first. One of the first things that I had to do was get out to all 360 dealerships. And before I went out with what I think the solutions are, we wanted to listen to them. And so we had them share all their insights and so forth. And I tell you, Stacy, thousands and thousands of line items, and they all bucketed into themes. And we were transparent with the dealer organization. We shared those themes and said, okay, yes, great points. We're going to work on these together. We're going to move the needle on these. These we're not going to do because they don't make financial sense. And let me explain why they don't, okay? Or why we can't do them. And then the other ones are like, you know what? Those are great ideas. It's something we can't conquer today. Because that's one thing, in the customer experience world, right? Which is you're always going to have a list that's longer than your arm of to-dos. But it's really about figuring out what are the things that are going to move the needle the most for the business bottom line and top line. Because we are ruthless about creating profitability too, right? Because how else are you going to stay in business, right? We want to create value that people want to pay for and see value in, but at the same time, create a great fan experience, guest experience. But we are a for-profit business as well. And for us to keep going from expected to wow, we've got to be able to generate some profitability to invest in those things.
Yeah. Which every leader listening to this will understand that for sure. We don't need to educate on that. It's more of it's the both and it's the profitability and the human centricity here.
Yes.
So we're at rapid fire ending here. So what is one key takeaway you want people to remember?
The key takeaway I would probably say is culture eats strategy for breakfast. So you can have the best strategy, all the plans, actions, all that kind of stuff in mind and so forth. But if you don't get that right, you don't got a chance.
And future's now. Technology is here and it's beyond our comprehension. Where do you see this going in evolving customer experiences?
Yeah, I would say so. We're well past CDM and CRM and personalized emails and that kind of thing, right? So I use the word. What are the ways where we can get intimate with our fans, guests, and customers? And then people will look at me like, maybe that's the wrong word to use. No, we're in a relationship. I want to get intimate. And what I mean by that is I want you to really dig hard where we can make that experience, whether it's at, again, in my business, parking, ticketing, concessions, and so forth. How can we make that intimate? And so my example would be, okay, we just went through in our security scanning, we put in new technology where you don't have to take anything out of your pocket. You just walk straight through. We've implemented facial authentication where you don't have to pull out your phone to show your tickets. Your face is your tickets, right? So you just continue to walk through. So you have this seamless walk in. I want you to walk up to one of our bars or one of our concession stands. Again, we'll be able to do that. Facial authentication. Hey, Stacy, glad to see you back because now I know who you are already. Last time your favorite drink was XYZ. Would you like to have that again? Or today's, drink of the game is blah, blah, blah. And how best can I serve you, right? So again, just that connection where we really know you. And also beyond that, how can we involve you in creating the experiences that you want? And so we've created a lot of different experiences, a lot of different ways to enjoy the game with different types of membership.
And knowing you, I imagine you is really plural because you're talking about thousands and thousands of fans. So I want people to realize that the you, if you're able to do that with thousands and thousands, then smaller companies absolutely can take what you're saying and apply it because it's easier by the numbers.
Yeah, Stacy, it's a great point. So I remember the first year we were here. So there are hundreds of birthdays that are celebrated with a cake and team members singing to folks in our seats. If someone's having an anniversary, what can we do? If someone's doing a gender reveal, how can we help? If someone's doing an engagement, if someone, from everything from Make-A-Wish, you name it. So we have service representatives, sales representatives who are literally here at every one of those events trying to connect with all of their season ticket members in different ways. And of course, they can't connect with 72,000 people all on the same day. But we have a requirement, we have standards of how do we make personal connections with each and every one of our season ticket members all throughout the year and on event day, because it's personal.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. Well, thank you so much for being here. And I will put your social media and website and all the ways to reach you in the show notes.
Sounds great.
I just loved having you here. And I thank you very much.
Likewise, I enjoyed it. And I love your new episodes all the time. I don't think I'm going to miss one.
Oh, appreciate you. Big hearts. Thank you.